In 1990, Frisco had 6,000 people and cotton fields. Today, it has 244,000 residents, a $10 billion development, and a universal theme park that's going to be done in May. Everybody relocating to Texas puts Frisco on their list, and sometimes number one. But is it actually worth it in 2026? Well, I looked at the real numbers, and here they are. So let's start with the things that most families care about first. Frisco ISD. It's the largest school district in Texas to earn an A rating from the state. The average Texas student scores 44% in math proficiency. In Frisco, that number is 70%. And the graduation rate, 98.8%. That's only a 0.2% dropout rate. That's almost nobody. If the schools are the reason you're moving, Frisco is really hard to beat anywhere in the state. Okay, so that's one of the most obvious things. If you've done any research at all, you already know that the schools are A+ here in the area, but they're also A+ in surrounding cities like McKinney, Prosper, Salina. So what are you really paying for to be in Frisco? Okay, so here is where it actually gets really surprising. When a lot of people hear high density, they assume higher crime rate. Well, Frisco was just ranked the #2 safest city in the entire country among cities with over 100,000 people. The average American city spends $2,100 per resident on crime costs. That number in Frisco is less than $300, $287 to be exact. For a city that's added 200,000 people in 3 decades, those numbers are really hard to believe, but they're actual data from the FBI, so there you go. Now, here's where the truth gets a little uncomfortable. Everybody talks about the no state income tax in Texas. Now, that part is true, but on a $650,000 home in Frisco, you're looking at somewhere between $11,000 and $13,000 a year in property taxes. That's city tax, county tax, school district tax, all stacked. And a lot of the newer master plan communities that people love to relocate to, great by the way, they add public improvement district fees on top of that. So the no income tax savings, for most families, property taxes take a big chunk of it back. Now, obviously, if you earn more, it does offset the difference, but you have high property taxes. So just remember that when you're moving here, because to a lot of people, huge sticker shock. The median home in Frisco right now is $655,000. So debunking the myth that every home in Texas is dirt cheap, in the popular areas with great schools and being in the middle of it all, that's not entirely true, because that number is actually nearly double the national median. If you're from the West Coast, it's not California money, but it's not really the cheap Texas that people imagine either. Now, here's something else that's also worth knowing. Frisco doesn't have public transit, no DART rail, no city bus. Years ago, the city chose to send its sales tax revenue to an economic development corporation instead of funding its transit. If you live here, you're driving everywhere. You literally can't live in this city without a car, unless you plan on Ubering everywhere, which honestly, not worth it. It really adds up. Even with the tolls, it's better to have a car. Trust me, so you don't regret it. But on the flip side, here's what the economic development money actually built. The fields. It's a 2,500 acre development with a total investment north of $10 billion. The PGA of America moved its national headquarters here. They built a $530 million Omni resort with 2 championship golf courses. So PGA moved here, Omni moved here, and they're building a Universal Studios, as you know, right across the street. That Universal is a $550 million theme park. Which, by the way, that $550 million theme park, Universal, is only for kids ages 3 to 11. It won't be like Universal Orlando or Hollywood. This one is specifically designed for young kids, so families. Height restrictions on every single ride. It's actually really unique. It's the only park like this in the entire world. It's opening May of this year. On top of that, Fields West is also bringing a Ritz-Carlton, Mastro Steakhouse, and nearly 400,000 square feet of restaurants and retail, places like Aloe. It's 70% pre-lease and it hasn't even opened yet. That's huge. The city also invested $200 million in new roads in the northern corridor to handle that growth. If you live nearby, you already know how much construction that is. And if you're visiting, that wasn't always there. But if you're moving here, expect to see that for the next foreseeable future, because Frisco is developing like crazy, and there's still land. Okay, so you got Universal, Ritz, Omni, PGA, but they didn't stop there. 20 years ago, there was an Exide battery recycling plant in the center of Frisco. It's completely polluted, nobody wanted it there. The company went bankrupt twice. Most cities would have just walked away. Frisco bought the land. They secured $24 million in state cleanup funding, and now they're turning that into Grand Park. When it's finished, it'll span 1,011 acres. That's larger than Central Park. Phase 1 is already under construction, a 5-acre pond, amphitheater, kayaking, splash pads, trails. The full build out is a generational project. The city says up to 50 years. Now, honestly, I didn't expect the project that's taking place in Frisco to be in development past the point of my life, but here we are. Grand Park, a park that's literally larger than Central Park in New York. But hey, if you have space and you're in Texas, might as well, right? Especially for a city that has so much going for it. Okay, so what exactly does all this mean if you're buying in Frisco right now? The market has shifted. Home prices in Frisco are down roughly 5 to 8% year over year. There are nearly twice as many homes on the market as there was a year ago. 2 years ago, homes sold in under 30 days easily. You couldn't get your hand on them. By the time you walked in the door, there was an offer already executed. Now, that number is closer to 60 or 70. So actually twice the number of days on market. That's a good thing if you're a buyer here. This isn't a crash, it's a correction, because as you know, during COVID, rates made everything go crazy. And for the first time in years, buyers actually have leverage, even in a place like Frisco. Sounds amazing. Here's something else that you want to know. If Frisco sounds right, but the price doesn't, McKinney is 10 minutes to the east. The median home there is $530,000. That's $125,000 less than in Frisco. And McKinney, if you've heard about it, great. One of the most beautiful cities in DFW, by the way. So much greenery. If you like that, you definitely want to check it out. But McKinney ranked as the #1 housing market in America for 3 years. And it's the 9th safest suburb in the entire country. You can look it up. It's in the same county. You have virtually the same commute. You have strong schools, A+. So if you're on the fence because of Frisco's prices, or you just want to pull for the same price, McKinney is seriously worth a look. Okay, and finally, here's the part most people miss. Everything I just walked through, $10 billion Fields project, Universal, Grand Park, 50 years later, PGA headquarters, all of that is happening while Frisco is only 75% developed. Drive 10 minutes north of PGA Frisco and it's still open land. You might end up in Salina, mid-Salina, rural, country, farmland, all that's gonna change. That's where the next wave goes. The city's full build-out capacity is 365,000 people. Right now, 244,000. Yeah, that's a lot. A Ritz-Carlton is planned, billions in commercial space. Frisco is not a city that's peaked yet. It's still being built. So for the ultimate question that you've been wondering about, is it still worth it? Is it too late to buy in Frisco? Well, if you want the best public schools in the state, one of the safest cities in the country, and a suburb that's investing billions into what's coming next, the short answer, yes. But it comes with real cost. Property taxes are significant. There's no public transit whatsoever. And $655,000 is a lot of money for a median home price. If Frisco fits your budget, the timing is better now than it's been in 3 years. Prices are down, inventory is sky high, and half the city isn't even built yet. If it doesn't fit your budget, McKinney is 10 minutes away and it's $125,000 cheaper. Either way, you've got options that didn't exist 2 years ago. Drop a comment with which Texas city you want me to cover next. And if you're thinking about moving to the Dallas area, my contact info is in the description below. I'll see you next time.